before I got involved, actually got involved in the movement. I did go across to the LBC from the block of flats that I was living in, which was just opposite the LBC. And I was a social worker around the area. And I used to look out my window and wonder what was going on at this old fire station. There was so much activity going on. You know, I'd been living there before the LBC was built. And I would look down the road and I'd see these very earnest-looking people walking 2 by 2. And they really stood out. They really stood out on Roman Road. And so as a social worker, the recreation that one did after work was go to local pub. So I'd go with colleagues to the Approach Tavern, which is on Approach Road, and I'd be sitting, I don't remember, I wasn't a big drinker, so I don't remember what I was drinking, but I'd be drinking with colleagues, and then I'd look out the front door, because it was, warmer weather, and I'd see these 2 by 2 sincere people with sandals walking by, and I'd say to my colleagues, look, there's 2 of them, like it was a rare species of bird or something. But it seemed as if I was the one who was very sensitive to this extinct or whatever it is species that was walking by, where others didn't seem that bothered by it. So I was drawn to this kind of intensity of communication and this commitment to communication more than I was drawn to Buddhism, because I was quite suspicious of Buddhism as a religion and a cult and all that. And so as I very slowly got involved, because what I did at first was to feel very sympathetic to the cooperative businesses. And I would, as a social worker, you got so much budget, to get people heaters and bits and pieces. And there was Friends Trading, a secondhand furniture shop. And I would buy things for clients who were just rehoused from a Buddhist shop, if I could. And I always told them to, that they can ask for more because it's the council paying, which got me into trouble at one point when when they needed a refund or something. It came back and bit me on the nose. Okay, so it was a very stressful job, and
a minute to tape it up.
Yeah, so every day, to let out my stress, I would go into Friends Foods, which is where the charity shop is now, Sudana, and I would go in there and let off steam to Vangisa. And he was very sympathetic, and he would listen to me going on, and it turned out that, and he suggested I just quit the job and work in the wild cherry, or cherry orchard as it was then. And then it turned out that Vangisa's funeral, which was, I think, the most moving experience I've had to date, made me feel that that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to commit myself to a group that can celebrate death the way it was celebrated. So, how's that?